down here at Honfleur's old port, the old harbor here. And this would have been about, I don't know, over 1,000 years old or something. Would have been a major harbor during the 13 and 1400s for sure, and then lasting all the way up until the steamships came in, and then this harbor was just too small for all of them. Honfleur is named for a Viking lord, Hon, H-O-N, that would have been here. The Normandy was settled and conquered by the Normans or Norsemen, so people from Scandinavia. And so Hon is the warlord, and Fleur means like a safe haven or a safe place. So it's the haven of Hon. This was a major harbor, major port during the 100 Years' War. And so it would have been needed to have been fortified to prevent the English from taking over this area. It's a little bit ironic because the Normans were, Normandy were Norsemen that lived in this part of France. And it wasn't really France at that time. It was more disparate little areas owned by, think of them as, they would be lords, but they'd be like smaller kings. And then the Normans invaded England, but their base of operations was still, or their homeland here was still in Normandy. So you had all of England being ruled by French-speaking Normans. And a lot of the supplies and a lot of the transportation would go back and forth from Honfleur into England as the William the Conqueror and all his lords and knights still had lands here in Normandy, and they had new lands in England. The building behind me is La Lieutenance, which would have been one of the gatehouses that was here. The city would have been fortified with a wall in up until the 1700s when it was torn down, and this gatehouse is really the only surviving element of that wall. We go inside to explore La Lieutenance, the old city gate, and upstairs to a worthwhile city museum. Tickets were just €6 per person, full price. Since we are also staying in Honfleur a few weeks, we took the opportunity to purchase the 4 museum pass for €15. It gains admission to the Marine, Ethnological, Sati, and Boudin museums.
Inside.
Honfleur was a safe sandy island where the Clare River ran to the Seine and the Seine to the ocean. A sandy spot for Viking ships to safely go aground. The city was strategic, as the Seine led to Rouen, Paris, and beyond. The surrounding hills were full of timber and raw materials, so walls were built and the city improved. Are you rebuilding the walls, La Lieutenance was improved along with the walls, with changes and additions as late as the 1800s. Plongez votre main dans le cube. Okay, let's put my hand in there. Okay, I've got my hand in there. Now, open up the box.
Oh, open it. Surprise!
Okay, I'm not sure what that's all about. Then lift up the
supposed to figure out what the material.
Oh, what it is. Okay, it was a rock. There it was. Rock. Like kissing the Blarney Stone in the Lieutenant's version. Like arrow slit holes, so maybe this was the outside of the building and that's that other room. They kept adding on to it. This says as like maybe an art exhibit here up top, or it might be, I'm not sure if we can go up here. We are going up here. It says Résidence des Artistes, so maybe this is where people can come in and do art classes or paint or painting classes up here? Okay, cool. We are, so see where that bridge is in the red topped building right there? That's Lieutenant's. I think it's this one right here. That's right in the center of that painting. and then the hill runs up to the left. So the place that we're staying, it's like right here, and then that's the Seine right there. There's a guy talking to us. Who's this guy? Vino Pommier? He headed to the West Indies and landed in Brazil, so he thinks he might have discovered Brazil out of Honfleur.
Oh look, we're going to where we're going.
Oh, the Azores. Yeah. And then down and tried for ended up down there. Honfleur would have been a major port for sailing ships. Lots of guys that sailed out here. So Champlain came and discovered part of Canada and claimed it for the French. And then there's all these other world exploration missions out of France that started right here in Honfleur.
Honfleur is a city of the sea with a heritage of sailing, fishing, shrimping, and gathering mussels. They have their own unique festivals.
Greasy pole, they got to walk out there and try to grab that flag. That's July 14th.
And their own unique
Your
ships.
sails down at that ship that's in the harbor.
Okay.
This is called a gaff rigged, and it hangs from the main mast.
Oh yeah, look how they go out kind of at an angle.
And there might even be a sheet up there.
It also had a brief dark period as part of the African slave trade.
Honfleur during the World War II missed all the bombing. Like I think there's a story about one bomb falling into the main church, St. Catherine's, but not exploding. But it really did not get bombed, so it's preserved since medieval times. So you've got that preservation. Then it's preserved in all these great images of Honfleur because the Impressionist artist, Boudin was from Honfleur. I think Monet may have been from Le Havre across the harbor, and so they would come here and paint the whole city. So we have these great pictures mostly from the 1800s, from the Impressionist artists. This would be a great place to hang out up here and paint.
Over time, the Seine changed, as rivers do. Silt deposits around Honfleur, along with improvements, merged the island with the banks. Major development in the late 1800s saw removal of the walls, filling in of old harbors, and the creation of new harbors, streets, and parks along the banks of the Seine.
Here's the 1843 plan of Honfleur, and I think it says View Basin right there, and this is where the fosses, the ditches, used to be. So it looks like there used to be water here surrounding the whole city, but this has all been filled in now.
On a new map, the old takes work to recognize. Use your imagination and you can see it. We couldn't help it, and we were constantly trying to find where our home fit in location and history.
Okay, so this is the harbor. We're actually standing right there. This is the old street here. We're down in here somewhere, and this is the old seafront right here. This whole road right here is expanded, I think, in the 1800s. And so the houses on this row would have faced the sea, and a lot of fishermen lived there. We're in a fisherman's house. We're seeing our first signs. This is the Bayou Tapestry. And Bayou is not far from here. We're going to go see that hopefully on this trip. So this is one piece of a huge, long, I don't know, tens of feet long, 100 feet long. I'm not sure how long this tapestry, which was like the newspaper of the time, showing William the Conqueror's conquest of England. Historic reconstruction of the Mora, the flagship of William the Conqueror during the conquest of England in 1066.
Honfleur is reconstructing La Mora. It will sail across the channel for the 1000th anniversary of William the Conqueror in 2027. We'll go see that on another day.
Ooh, cool. That's a good view. What's it showing in the viewfinders?
Really closely. It's giving you a little lesson on how the town wall.
What it was?
See it very well.
Oh, it's like a video in there. Got this nice map you can look at that kind of shows the districts from the top of the Lieutenance. So we are right here, and this is the old wall enclosure. So it would be maybe a little piece of the harbor was right there, where my finger is, and then you've got these different quarters. So that's the enclosed part with the walls, and then you have the seafarers village here, and this green line would have been the coastline up until the 1800s. This other new district, so when the walls were torn down in the 1800s, you had the town expanding outside. Then you have the Normandy Bridge, which I think goes up into Le Havre. All right, let's see if we can figure out this map. So here's where we're standing right there. So if we go back up this way, there's a big, huge marina here. And then we have the fishing port, which is right out there. Just right here, where the water is, you know, where there's a harbor now. Ocean and cruise port is up at this end. Cranes and stuff for more of a commercial port, ocean port. And then we have River cruise port, okay, is right here. Okay, quick crepe stop. Yummy. Yes. Got to get our fortification to get through the fortifications. This is a gate, the entrance into the old city when there were still walls surrounding the city. Samuel de Champlain, who founded Quebec City, so about 400 years ago, he sailed out of Honfleur. There's the drawbridge to let ships into the harbor and the lock.
I didn't even hear it.
No, I didn't either. There goes a boat through it. That is cool.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, is there another boat coming out? Yes. Should we go look? Looks like he's got the control panel right there. He's gonna go get it going the other way. Here he goes. And there it goes. Bridge lowering. Modern engineering at work. Oh, somebody's in it. Wonderful couches here with people getting a view right across the harbor at all the 18th, 19th century homes. There's a little of that, and put some little pepper on there. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, hang on.
Wheat.
Oh. Is it better?
It is. It's a lot better. It's good. Very salty. It's a very strong oyster. It's yummy.
Salty.
Bon appetit.
Yes, bon appetit. How is it?
Too bad.
Better?
Salty.
Salty?
They are very salty.
It's not too bad, really.
Does it need Tabasco?
I said, no way. You have to drink it up. They're strong.
This is the Church of Saint Etienne. It's also the Marine Museum. We're in St. Stephen's Church today. This is now the Marine Museum, so it's we're going to check this out, starting with this cool tapestry. The capture of Louisbourg in Canada by the English in the 1750s. This was part of the museum pass. The 4 museum pass was like around 17 euros, something like that, and got you into the Marine Museum as part of that. So if nothing else, you get to see the inside of the church and some cool artifacts. The church was built in 1369 by Charles V and then enlarged during the 100 Years' War under Henry VI. This church has been all kinds of things. It was used as a warehouse, a theater, a commercial stock exchange, a herring market in the 1800s. And then the church became a customs warehouse and it opened as a marine museum in 1976. This is another, yes, the rigging that goes off kind of at an angle off the main mast, or the foremast, front mast. It's very Honfleur. Yes, with this one, this sail too. Unique. Shrimp baskets? Mm-hmm. How do they catch them with the baskets?
It looks like they're just walking through the water.
And are these the people going out looking for mules?
Shrimp.
Shrimp. Oh, they're doing. That's how they've got the shrimp baskets right there in the picture. This is a shrimp boat that they could drag behind their boats to keep the shrimp alive while they're going back into port. This is the Ethnography Museum with rooms that are set up in the style that of Honfleur when it was at its highlight of shipping and its period as a major harbor and port. The museum set up in the old prison.
From the 16th century.
So 1500s prison called Rolfsville. It's just an example of a house from the 1500s, and it's all mortise and tenon joints that are held together like that and that. So that's right there is the wall, is the town wall. Okay, there's a little bit left right there.
The well, which has been resited in the prison yard, comes from a former farm in the area.
Oh yeah, okay, there's the winch right there. There's a bunch of birds. Okay, here's the part of the prison. This is solitary confinement. Oh yeah, I can see it here. Ooh, with shackles. Not so cool. And then little solitary confinement room. Can you see anything? It's very dark in there. You can see they've turned into a place to store cannonballs. Here's how to be a cooper, a barrel maker, 101. Tonnelier in France. Oh, that's where they get the word. Well, like in, they have the ton gates. The ton gate, like in Guildford in the UK, there's a place called the ton gate where the barrels would be brought in. There it is, Tonlier. We're in a church, I think it was in St. Catherine's. We're up on the balcony. They have people playing instruments. They got this one that you wind. Looks like there's buttons on the side to push. And maybe it's strumming strings. Here's a board game called The Game of Small Miseries. Maybe we could play this, guys. It says right here, it was a popular 19th century game. It's like the game of Goose, where you have to kind of work your way around the board, and if you hit certain squares, it slows you down or speeds you up. It's composed of 41 blocks with accidents in it, and until marriage, from birth to marriage.
Game of life. Might be what that presse means.
The cheese, okay, so the water drains out the bottom. Cheese, soft cheese goes in top, water drains out the bottom, and you get whatever shape is left. An interesting bed warmer, so it had this frame that you'd put in between the sheets, and then the little fire pot would be warming up the sheets from the inside, and the frame kept the sheets from burning. Sailor's room from the 17 and 1800s might have been what some of our bed and breakfast looked like. Butter churn right there.
Oh, yeah.
And then what are the spinning round things? Is that a churn also?
Butter churns and milk churns.
Handy bear trap too, just in case. We're on the Rue de la Boucherie, which is where all the butcher shops would have been. An example of one is this little shed on the end. We're stuck with this tour group, but we're hearing what's happening in French. Okay, the guide was telling us in French that there's all these beams are numbered. There's numbers on them, so that's like 7 right there, and that's looks like 13, 14, and so all of the buildings could be pulled down and reconstructed in the exact order if they needed to. Not sure why they needed to do that, but maybe if they wanted to move them from one place to the other.
You get dizzy, especially when they're
Leaning into the street.
So this was the alley we just came up.
So they painted just all the town, didn't they?
So it's fun to look in the museums and see all the places that we've been.
This whole Rue de la Boucherie was inside the walls, and the walls were built because Honfleur guarded the Seine River, which was the route into Paris from the ocean. So if you wanted to invade France and get to Paris, you'd have to come through here if you're doing it by ship. And so it was fortified in the 1300s during the 100 Years' War, and it stayed fortified for 300 or 400 years until then. And then today they took all the stones out, and they had all this extra stones when they tore the walls down because they didn't need the protection anymore, and they used it to build like these giant warehouses, like this salt warehouse that we're going to try to go peek into, but it's all built from blocks from the city wall. And there's a nice Enterprise truck there. The Salt Works is open today. We're going to go check it out. Les toilettes. They've got a little fair in here that has, you can like take classes and learn French or join the gaming society or just little different things you can do in the area if you live here.
Gonna have private.
I don't know. They'll have a sale. It has a sale that goes on.
Super friendly people in there. It's like all the locals who are doing classes and stuff. And, the photography society and the Boudin club and all that, trying to get you involved in all that locally. It's super fun.
Is the Patchwan
Okay, so like that's like the same word, like the patriotism, the homeland, what would we say in English? It's the
patriotism.
the
I
heritage
said the
societies.
national-
It's the
national
Heritage Day.
Pride.
Yeah,
Yes, heritage.
yeah. There's bars and restaurants all over here. I mean, what a great city to just come hang out, walk on the cobblestone, see just the old medieval buildings. It's very cool. That's the end of the Rick Steves tour. We're going to go check out some other things in Honfleur, St. Catherine's. We peeked in a little bit yesterday, and then just do some wandering and shopping between now and then. So, anyway, that was the tour.